everybody, and welcome back to this tutorial. And right now let us actually implement our simple keylogger from the previous video into a file. Now we will code it right here, and we will also try to write those keystrokes to a file that we will name right here. So first of all, let us nano something called keylogger test1.py. Since this is not our final project, we want to just call it test. Let's use the user bin Python as usual. And what we want to do is simply just import this actual user bin Python, and let's import our Python keyboard, pyinput.keyboard, pardon me. So this is the only thing we want to input, and let's actually process the keys. So def process underscore keys takes an input of a key. And first of all, we want to print this to an actual screen just to see if we actually print everything correctly. And we also want to with open, and let's call it log.txt. Now make sure as a mode in this file, we don't want to use read or write. We want to use A for the appending, since if we used, for example, W for writing, we would actually rewrite every single character that we input in our keyboard. So make sure to specify A right here for the appending, and let's open it as fin, and we will simply just fin.write the string of the actual key. Now you will see what the problem is with this, but for now on, let us just leave it like this. So keyboard underscore listener equals pyinput. Now this is basically the same as from the previous video, so nothing really new right here. pyinput.keyboard.listener and right here on underscore press equals process keys. And all we need to do is with keyboard listener, we need to join the keyboard listener. So same as in the previous video, nothing new right here. And right now, if we save this, we chmod it in order to make it an executable, and we run it. You can see once we type something, it will print it to the screen, but also if we quit the program and type ls, we will have a log.txt file right here. If we cat the log.txt, you can see there are a bunch of these actual strings, or not strings, characters right here, all separated by this u right here. And we also have something as key.ctrl, so it also prints those characters as well. So right now what we want to do is, first of all, we want to actually get the character of the actual key, since the string of this key will print this with u, and we want to get rid of this u right here because it ruins our keylogger. We don't want to actually skip and just get these characters like this, so D, F, S, D, F, and so on. We want to actually remove completely the u, so let us go to our Python, or how did we call it, keylogger test1.py, and in the process keys, first of all, we no longer want to print the actual keys anymore. No really point. Let me just, before we do this, delete the actual current log.txt so it doesn't present us any problem. What we want to do is, in the process keys function, we want to use the global variable, which will be the global variable log. So we will define it right here to be a simple string or an empty string, however you want to call it, since it really doesn't have anything between this. Make sure to not have a space, so just simple two double quotes, one next to each other. Then in the global log, or after the global log, what we want to try is, first of all, we need to put this in the actual hashes, since this is not the part of code we want to deal with right now. We first of all want to try to print the characters without the u character. In order to do that, we can just use the log variable, and we can add to that log variable a string of the key and then .char. This key.char will print our character without the u character, as you saw in the previous test. And you will notice that if you try to print the character of, for example, enter, or the character of space, or the character of Control-C, or backspace, or any other characters that are not an actual letter or a number, you will get an error and your program will crash. That's why we need to accept the error that is called attribute error. So make sure to specify it the correct name, attribute error. That is the error that will pop up if you try to print the character of space, for example. And then we want to see what we can do with it. For now on, or let's use, for example, just the space. So if key is equal to the key.space, we want to add to our log a simple empty space. So right now you want to type a double quote, then the space, and then another double quote in order to make an actual space. And then right afterwards we want to print each actual log after every time we actually input the key itself. So let's see how this will work. Make sure to hash this too so it doesn't present us a problem. We didn't do anything to the actual keyboard listener. It is same as before. All we did was we create an actual global variable. We put the character of the key that is inputted in the keyboard to the global variable log, and in any case that key can be printed as a character, such as I said before, enter space, backspace, we will just do a simple statement for each of these cases. For now on, we will just use if key equals key space. Let me just run this right here. Let us print. You can see it prints everything. But you can also see it prints the previous thing as well as the new thing. And if you just type here space, you can see it also prints space. But if you just type here enter or backspace or escape, you can see nothing really is printed right here. But we also want to print the actual enter and the actual backspace and so on and so on. So in order to do that, in the if else statement right here, we can just add the else. In any other case that the character is not a number or a letter and that it is not a space, we want to just add to the log the previous log plus the empty space plus the string of the actual key. Now the string of the actual key, for example for the key enter, will just print key.enter, as you will see in just a second, and then also add another empty space so we can separate it from the next strings. So let's try to run it once again right here. You can see everything is as usual, but if I just type key enter, key backspace, key escape, control C, you can see it prints them like this. Now we need to have these characters as well, so we know when user prints something like this. For example, let's say they're typing a password and they press a backspace and we didn't print the backspace, we would not know when they deleted a certain letter. But if we have the key.backspace, we will know that they deleted the previous letter that is typed in. So simple as that. Now, since we have printed it to the actual screen, we need to make sure to actually print it into an actual file. So in order to do that, we will need a simple function which will report every certain period of time. Now that function will be run on an actual thread. We will use a thread in order to be able to run this program while executing the reverse shell commands, since this keylogger must be executed on a thread in order for us to be able to execute both things at the same time. But we will do that in the next video. For now on, we simply just printed these characters and we also saw how we can start our keyboard listener. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!